Welcome back to the Trogly's Guitar Show. Thought we'd check out another new 2019 Gibson. This is a 2019 model that I didn't even realize existed until it showed up on Reverb one night. I figured, hey, I like reviewing these new Gibsons, let's give it a try. It looks like we've got one of these new Gibson gig bag cases. I'm really interested in checking this out. It's got a nice, plush material to it. I definitely like this a lot better than a regular gig bag. There she is. So here we go. This is a Guitar Center exclusive model. It is the 2019, I think they also made them in 2018, but it is a Les Paul Special in a honeyburst finish. And I fell in love with this example because of the nice wood grain that it had. And I thought that this wood streak was rather interesting. Because what I like about those weird things, even though some people would consider them ugly, is that if somebody steals your guitar, even if they scratch out your serial number and whatnot, that's still an identifying characteristic. So at first glance here, this is looking pretty cool, but let's go ahead, throw it on the workbench and see what it's made of. The Les Paul Special was initially released in 1955 as a mid-range student model guitar that ranked slightly higher than the one pickup Les Paul Jr. This version offered a neck pickup and additional cosmetic attributes such as a mother-of-pearl inlaid Gibson logo, as well as binding on the neck with additional finish options. Many players have fallen in love with the simplicity of these and have used them as their main go-to gigging guitars since they are considered affordable vintage. The Special was offered from 1955 to 1958 before finally switching to the double cut shape, and today they will run you anywhere between 5 to 10 grand. Alright, so we've got it all taken apart here. I've got the pickguard off, so if you're a pickguard off type person, hey, that's what it'll look like. You'll have these holes left. However, I think the integral part of a Special is in the pickguard itself, so definitely leave that on. But that's what it looks like, just in case you're curious. Pickup-wise, we have the Soap Bar P90s. I took the cover off of this one so you can see on the insides there. So it's not like a stacked P90, like a P100 or anything. So that means you're going to get some 60 cycle hum out of these babies. But they are marked Rhythm P90 Soap Bar, and your bridge pickup is called the Lead P90 Soap Bar. Notice the date of manufacturing being in mid-2018. If you're not familiar with P90s, these are the base plates that they use to secure them, but we'll go ahead and take this one out to look at the neck tenon. With that removed, we can tell it is a short neck tenon, and it's marked HB for Honeyburst. We'll go ahead and remove this bridge one too, just to see if there's any markings, but look at this! Normally with a P90 base plate or a mini humbucker base plate, they'll secure them with these two screws. This one, they did it with these two. That's kind of interesting. And here we can see the markings LPSP, likely for Les Paul Special, and then P19. I'm not sure what that second P stands for, but 19 obviously for 2019 model. But these pickup cavities look pretty clean. I don't see any dull router bit evidence as we've seen on some of these, so that's a nice surprise. And just in case you're curious what these other two holes are for, you can also mount a mini humbucker in the same style route as well as the same mounting plate. So keep that in mind. If you get tired of the P90 sound and you want to get rid of the 60 cycle hum, you can throw a set of mini humbuckers in here really easily. And judging by these types of wires coming out of the pickup, we're going to find the PCB in there, I bet. So that means quick connect, so it'll be really easy to swap them out. But before we get there, let's take a look at the bridge. It's your standard Nashville styled one with these identifying marks. But the bridge is your regular full weight tailpiece, and it has the advanced plating incorporated branding on it. The knobs they chose are a 50s style top hat. I'm not a huge fan of them. There's something that just looks a little bit too modern about these. I think it's just the font for me personally, but I'm sure other people dig those. But here we can see a two-piece mahogany body, and that's kind of why I chose this example, is I thought it had exceptional wood grain on it. Fretboard is made of rosewood. I love this red streaking in it. It kind of gives it a Brazilian rosewood vibe. I just finished conditioning it, so you've got a little bit of leftover on that. But since this one does not have binding on the neck like a vintage special would, we're not going to see any of those tooling marks as we've been seeing on some of the other 2019s that we've reviewed, simply because, hey, there's no binding to get chewed up, so hey, that's a plus. Headstock with the truss rod cover removed. You can see what the cavity looks like. Everything looks good in there. Les Paul model silkscreen with Gibson silkscreen. Onto the back here. I love this wood grain. Now you might be asking, is this a huge crack that has been repaired? No, it's just a really long mineral streak line. You can also see a small one right there. And I love this eye formation. This one utilizes Gibson's textured backplates. Now that's not just a fancy design like I used to think it was. This actually has shielding properties to it, which is apparently better and longer lasting than the shielding paint. You can see the toggle switch cover also has the same technology. But in here is the Gibson PCB system. You can see they're using these little black square pots now. And you have the white styled connectors if you wish to replace the pickups. Same thing going on here with your toggle switch. It looks traditionally wired, but then it ends up with this. And just as a word to the wise, if you wanted to use these in a non-PCB system, you just simply snip that off, and all the wires that you need to traditionally wire it, they're just right there, and then you can sell these connectors on eBay for like 15 bucks a pop. Other than that, you do have a comfort carve right here, so it'll rest against your body a little bit better. You can see the back of the neck with this nice gloss finish on this. And you have Gibson Clusen Deluxe style tuners with a Made in USA stamp with no year signification, but your serial number reads 2019. And honestly, this was a really early 2019 because I believe these just go in order as far as how many have been made. So that would be the 523rd 2019 model made. The strap buttons used are the large Gibson style. They're better than a regular strap button because they lock your strap in place a little bit better, but probably not quite as good as a strap lock system. I'm measuring a 1.67 inch nut width, or 42.4 millimeters. And by the 12th fret, we have a 52.5 millimeter or a 2.06 inch neck width. So it kind of starts off a little bit less wide, but then it kind of averages out a little bit wider than most that I've been measuring. Neck thickness at the first fret is 0.9 inches or 22.5 millimeters. And by the time you're at the 12th, you're at a full inch or 25.4 millimeters. Despite those measurements, I wouldn't really call this a super chunky neck. I'm sure Gibson still considers it like a 50s style, but this is what I would consider like a medium neck profile. In the circuit, your bridge pickup ohms out at 7.72 k ohms, and your neck position's very similar at a 7.74, and in the middle, just for fun, you're getting about half of that. But what's nice about this middle position is these are wired so that the 60 cycle hum cancels them out. So if your guitar is particularly noisy at a gig, like the lights are affecting it, switch to the middle position and you'll be good to go. And this particular example weighs 7 pounds 12 ounces. So now that we know its specs and some of the history behind this model, let's go ahead, plug this one in, and see how it sounds in both a clean and distorted setting. Alright, so now that we've seen the insides and heard how it sounds, what is my final verdict on the new 2019 Gibson Guitar Center Limited Edition Special? I really liked this guitar. The tonalities of it really reminded me of the more expensive SG Special from 2019 that I did a review on. But what's even better about this one is it's a Les Paul shape. I personally prefer that. And despite the whole wraparound tailpiece on that one being historically accurate, most players prefer the Tune-o-matic bridge and tailpiece setup. So I really do think this just might be the best deal of 2019. Yeah, it would be better if it came with a hard case. And I actually got a little bit better of a deal since these were supposed to come with regular gig bags. And I got one of the new soft shell cases. But these are just fantastic. Something about P90s, if you haven't tried them before, do it. Because I'm not a fantastic guitar player. If you liked what I was doing, that was all the guitar. Because whenever I pick up a special with two P90s, I just strum them and all these songs just come to mind of what the guitar sounds like. The bridge pickup was nice and bitey, but I really loved the neck pickup. It was nice and fat. I thought it sounded good with the Chili Peppers stuff. And on top of that, the mahogany on this is just beautiful. Again, it's a two-piece, but it dances around in the light a little bit. And the back, it's pretty well matched that you don't see a super seam line, except for this side of the body having a lot more figuring to it. But it's just such a great guitar. So I would highly recommend picking one of these up if you're looking for a budget model Gibson that just has a lot of fun to it. Sometimes there really is something to a lower end Gibson because they're usually made very well. I mean, this one's got the nice gloss finish to it. It looks professional. It's got a slightly vintage vibe to it, and I love the honeyburst color. But yet, when you play it, you're not really scared to hammer in on this one because it doesn't have a bunch of fancy features. It's just a flat top guitar, no binding on the neck. It's really a no frills rocker, and I dig it. Thank you, Troglodytes, for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And hey, what's a new 2019 model you'd like to see featured on the channel next? Take care.